Woohoo! Hello, everyone. Do. Hello, Arthurine. Who's illegally blind.
Back like scoliosis. That's right. The holidays doesn't keep us down, doesn't keep us away. First episode of 2023 is something we're about to get involved in. We were just talking about how dangerous wind can be, along with hurricanes made of bombs.
Yeah. Bombs like cyclone is hitting the West Coast.
A cyclone.
But then that's going to turn into really cold weather by the time it gets to you, Vin. It's part of the same storm.
It is like legit
nasty.
Oh, it's hot now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even kidding. It's not even like, oh, look, it's warm comparatively. No. Welcome to January, where it's 20 degrees outside, which is,
okay.
I don't know, like 80?
Yeah, it's around 80.
So, I got like windows open and I had to cut the fan on the camera. This is how hot it is.
Wow.
And why is this a deal? Because this time last week, it was below freezing the entire week. Ooh, nice and chilly. So what do we got going on? I got the social media things. They should be going out, doing the things tonight. I'm going to praise a little program that saved my bacon. We got Edubuntu is returned from the dead, which is super awesome. Handbrake AV1 encoding is a real boy. How to get some Comcast Xfinity up and working on Linux, and of course a recap of everything that went on System 76, which, that's fine, but we're going to tell you how to win a workstation from them. And by that, I'll tell you how to get a Quadro A4500 and give the workstation to somebody else.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything is going out nice and live. All the data bits are doing the things. I had to play around. I'm playing around with a bunch of stuff, playing around with the Jitsi server, trying to... Every time Jitsi does an update, it is your personal responsibility to go through the changelog and figure out what exactly they changed and moved. And hopefully, just hopefully, sometimes you get lucky and they'll document when they moved things or enabled things. Genuinely ran into that on a issue report on their GitHub. Where what are the developers like? Oh yeah, just make sure you have this random uncommented thing. It was commented out. I was like, uncomment that, make sure that's enabled. I'm like, how would I know this? Where is that ever written about anything? Why are you pretending like this is common knowledge? There's a bit of a disconnect between people, the people working on it day in and day out, right?
Yeah.
Then the plebes like us. Oh, hey, look, we're finally live for Steve. That is fantastic.
Yeah, so he just messaged me. He's going to be able to stay home from work tomorrow and work at home. It's
yeah.
bad out there. I'm so happy, honey, your Mattel decided to do that, and your boss, because that's, I think, safe. Because they have a lot of people that commute from far away that come from areas that get flooding and that kind of thing. So it's safer for everyone.
Let me bring that to 3. Hey, doing a quick audio check. There we go. That's about at the right level. A lot of things are out of whack because I've been testing things in the background because I'm working on here's how you make a podcast. And this video series, which is probably going to having to be a series, was exacerbated because I grabbed a podcast from a popular Linux network that's been around for a long time, and I'm not naming names. I'm not going to do it. I dropped that into Audacity. And it wasn't, the left channel audio was like 2 dB lower than the right channel audio.
Oh.
Can you imagine listening to that? Where the left side's quieter than the right side when somebody's talking?
Weird.
For the entire episode?
Yeah.
And that drives you mad? And I'm like, this is the state we're at. And plus it was...
That's annoying.
The levels were all wrong. And just looking at the waveform, it's like, oh no. It looked diseased. I felt bad. And I'm like, we got to do something about this. We got to hurry up. So we got that in gear. We do. If you're tuning in right now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I should be doing a live stream tomorrow. Rectangle
Woohoo!
Part 2. It's coming back. It's coming back. It's got to get its little fan at it. And we're going to put an NVMe drive in it. Then we're going to reinstall Debian, swap out the fiber card. All those fun things. And maybe, allegedly, all the parts got to show up. Which should be showing up today, right? This is Wednesday. Yeah. All right. That's good. What'd you think about the tracks last night, Jill?
Oh, I loved them. Those were a good set. I got through all of them. And I like the last one too. I guess I was the first to get through it.
You were. If you don't keep track of that, like the last map of the night is traditionally like the most challenging one. I don't want to say the hardest one, but definitely the most challenging. It's usually a longer map. Requires extra flips and a couple of bonus doodahs. And Joe was the first one through it. We were all flailing around trying to get through it. And Joe just pulled in across the finish line.
Yay!
That absolutely did happen. We're like, huh. And that's what you get for taking your time and doing stuff instead of just trying to fly around the lot. You know, going around the track like that. All right, we got about 4 minutes before go time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me go take a break. And
I am going to check temperatures. SSH Jordan at 192.168.88.40? Question mark? Yeah. Okay, rectangle is at 40 degrees and the fan's at about 1500. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's not on fire. Rectangle's coming out. If I get the parts in today, if they show up today, we're going to do another rectangle stream tomorrow. It's about 85-90% in obey me mode. But of course, we've done things like, you know, I have the 5600G inside of it. And what I've done is like slowly stepped it down. Because this is really the second show I've done with it. But I'm able to, like, what it's got to do is be able to, bare minimum requirement is to be able to run Trackmania for Tuesdays and Fridays. So currently C states are disabled. It doesn't do any frequency scaling on the CPU. And it's currently running at 2.9. I think I can get it down to 2.5. I think I can get it down to 2.5. And it'll do everything. Why would you underclock processor, Vin? Heat. But it is a bit of a trick because it's an APU. So, you know, that's how frequency scaling, right? That's what we got to deal with. It's going to affect the GPU as well, which is entertaining and fascinating. For parallelogram, man, you got to dig the paradigm, right? What else do I have? Oh, I got some maps I need to go look up. But we should be able to do a stream tomorrow and get the rest of the cooling in. There might be some impromptu engineering taking place. Because I have ideas and thoughts. I don't want to Swiss cheese the case up, right? What's the easiest thing to do? Just easiest thing to do to make this thing thermally viable would be just to cut a giant hole in it, put some mesh behind it so it can just suck air right from the top. But that wouldn't be any fun, would it? Also, I'm not dremeling anything in this room. Metal shards, not gonna happen. So we'll have to use fire. I'll bring my acetylene torch in here and we'll just cut it out. That sounds safe, doesn't it? You know, considering how thin that is, I could see, then again, I got like metal filings. I'm not going to do that in here. It's like I probably drill a hole and take a hacksaw blade, like with my hand, and just cut through it in a reasonable amount of time. Again, things I'm not going to do. All right. So that is together. That is in one place. That is good. Ran into a weird audio issue. I have a grounding problem. I have a grounding differential. The last device in this audio chain is a floating ground, but it's still using basically the rack itself as its grounding source, as it's designed to do. And it's fighting the ground, which is also a floating ground, in the audio interface in the PC, which is, of course, grounded through the power supply to the case. They don't like each other, but it only affects the headphone amp. Have you ever ran into that issue? Because it only affects the headphone amp, which I don't use, but I would like the option if I wanted to. It's one of those things. All it does is it causes interference on that headphone jack of the RME audio interface. I was in there, I'm like, I want to fix it, but then again, I found a way to fix it. I made I went and dug around in my box of transformers, as you know, we all have, right? You have a box of audio transformers or audio grade transformers, and built a isolator out of it and hooked it up at the end of the chain. I'm like, that works. That works. And I'm sure somebody makes these and puts them in boxes, and of course they do, and they're reasonable, like $70. But I'm not spending $70 for something I'm not going to use. Today, I might do it in the future though. Man, Transformers are cool. Transformers are cool. If you wonder why albums don't sound the same way they do, it's not the tubes, man. It's the Transformers. It is. Back in Steve's day, every piece of electronic equipment had a transformer in it. They were everywhere. They were ubiquitous, especially audio gear. You got to think by the time somebody was doing a vocal into a microphone, going into the preamp, going into a mixing console, through a tape machine, through any outboard gear, there's a good chance it had probably been through 40, 45 transformers. You don't really see Transformers these days outside of Michael Bay movie. You know what? I kind of want to see Beast Wars. I didn't like Bumble. I didn't dislike Bumblebee. I was just kind of meh about Bumblebee. And when I say meh, I just quit watching it about halfway through. I think and I fully understand. I'm not the age bracket for that, right? I was that's a good young. I could realize Bumblebee was a very good film for young adults, but. So I think it's the same director that's going to be doing the Beast Wars. I'm kind of interested. I'm going to watch it. I was never completely hung up on the Transformers, but I enjoyed it when I was young. It's like Star Wars and Star Trek, man. I enjoy Star Trek, I enjoy Star Wars, but I'm not hung up on it. I can take it or leave it. But man, some people bite you. Some people get angry at you if you say anything bad about Star Trek, Jill.
Uh-oh.
Or Star Wars. But there's nothing wrong with being a casual fan of something, hey, this is cool, I like this, And I run into that, especially when we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons type stuff, if I'm talking about that with Jordan. I'm yeah, it's cool, whatever. Oh, you gotta like it. Stargate. Yeah, don't you dare talk bad about Stargate. See, I could be like Stargate's that with Stargate. And I'm not hung up on Stargate. It's just that I've watched Stargate has been around on streaming services, and streaming services have existed, kids. It's been on Netflix and Amazon Prime as available background noise.
Yeah.
I'm I just got an episode of Stargate on in the background, and I'll just keep playing while I'm doing something else. So
I got my unicorn cup I got from Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree?
Yeah.
You sure it's safe to drink out of?
Yes. It doesn't have the bad plastic in it, fortunately. I'm careful when I buy stuff. You can kind of smell if the plastic isn't the right, isn't something you should have been drinking from. But they're most of their stuff comes from other stores anyways.
We always
like overstock from other stores. Like
everybody has to live a little bit. Like all plastic is made out of, petroleum.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then we end up with like things that may or may not be microwave safe. And hey, BBC, your TARDIS mug, despite what you've tried to tell me, 100% microwave safe. That thing would have broke years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes they do that just to be overcautious. But yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to microwave that one. I mean, you have the same mug.
Distinct possibility. Like, this is my little teacup that I bought, which is like, an oversized cup.
Your big one.
But yeah, it fits my hand. And this one's going to go one day because I have microwaved this. I don't typically microwave this. I have an electric kettle. But, I'll fill it up and I'll have, just hot tea in it. And I'll have it sitting, and when it's like cooling off, I'll hear like tink. Like, ooh, that's a fracture sound. So it's slowly getting micro fractures in it. So hopefully I'll be sitting during a show with a piping hot glass of like 3rd degree burn tea and it'll shatter. It'll be hilarious.
Oh my.
If it does it while we're live streaming, it'll be good content.
Yeah. Oh boy. But painful too.
Yeah, well, you know what? You gotta suffer for the art, Jill.
Yeah. Yeah, truthfully, I love tea and hot cocoa, but I don't like it hot. I like it room temperature. So I don't have problems with burns.
Room temperature hot cocoa. Like I really enjoy watered down chocolate milk. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't handle things that are hot because I had multiple surgeries in my mouth and they actually it affected my taste and everything. So I'm very, very extremely sensitive to really warm and really cold. Oh, it's not fun sometimes.
I don't want warm. I want hot.
Yeah.
Boiling. Nice and tasty.
Steven likes it like that too.
Caffeinated and hot. That's the only 2 requirements I have. But that's why I'm always in a constant war with whatever temperature it is in the house, because I want it to be chilly, but I want it to be cool enough to where if I'm drinking something really hot, I won't overeat. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, boo. You have to let my tea and hot cocoa sit.
Just make some iced.
He puts ice cream in my hot cocoa sometimes to cool it off. But it's wonderful with that. Ice cream and whipped cream. But with the tea, I just wait.
Just wait it out.
Yeah.
You just get some like iced tea.
Yeah, I don't like iced tea though. I like it at least warm.
Well, you don't have to put it in the refrigerator. You just leave it out.
Oh, that's man. True.
All right, everyone.
I know some people do that.
Let me scroll down to the bottom and we will get underway. So I could do this, and because the sooner we start the show, the sooner the parts will show up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We were talking about that last night. Come hang out with us on Tuesdays. Come hang out with us on Fridays. We do Trackmania. Retro gaming. A game from 2013. It's vintage.
It is, actually, even though it still looks good.
It's getting there. Nobody's called me on it, but every now and then I'll slip in the on the Twitch tag, I'll put retro on it.
Yeah.
Because, man, that's close, right? Like,
yeah, it absolutely is.
And, you know, I don't personally agree with it, but I'll allow somebody to call something retro if it's 20 years old. Because that means there's a 20-year-old walking around that could have never seen it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
Mir, yeah. Sunbird tea. Nice. Yeah. I like tea like that.
Right.
But yeah, the original Trackmania, the first one, that's really you see a lot of polygons because it's older and low res. It still looks pretty good. It's still fun to play.
Well, the Trackmania Nations United Forever 11D 9000 Super whatever. That one looks visually like indistinguishable from Trackmania 2. Like Trackmania 2 is a mild graphical upgrade. I'm going to say very mild.
Very mild.
Now, and that one is 22 years old, I think. It's pretty old now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the only one of the series I've played. The one we're playing and the very first one that came out. Those are the only ones I've ever played.
Well, there was one before that.
Oh, okay.
That was like, it wasn't like Trackmania like we think about it. It was more like wacky, build a track and flip and try to keep your car right side up.
Okay, cool.
Most people don't even know about it because for the longest time, because guess what? It had DRM. It had Star Force DRM on it.
Ooh.
Which was that kernel level Windows DRM, and it just quit working at a certain point because, you know, and they never removed the DRM, and it took several years. People just couldn't play. I mean, of course, you could play the pirated version, but you couldn't play your official copy. And somebody finally released a patch so you could play it on modern systems. But I mean, it was like 7-8 years. You just couldn't play it. DRM.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about DRM in a minute. So, topical. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Yeah, that shot I can't do anything about. Jill's a little off to the side, but that's fine.
I could have Steve Husband move my camera back.
All right.
Yeah, boo, it got bumped a little bit today when I was turning it on. It didn't quite turn on and it moved a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, now it's 20 degrees. So weird. So weird. So warm. Cool, everyone. That's good. That's good. But you ready to do a show, Joe?
Yes, I am.
Right. Good time to do it. Let's do it, everybody. Recording's going. That's good. Big sip of coolant. Not as cool as I want it to be. I'm having the room temperature beverage.
Oh, okay.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays, where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, and talk about some of the fun things going on in the year of 2023. That's right. First episode, and we are back.
Yes.
Do you think it's going to be another great year for Linux, Joe Bryan?
Oh, absolutely. With I think with Valve and the Steam Deck at the helm, we're gonna get lots of updates to SteamOS. We're gonna get a new Steam Deck. There's gonna be we're gonna get a more rusty kernel. That's for sure.
You know what?
Lots of innovation.
It's going to be interesting is what it's going to be. There's no way around that. I got a bunch of things planned for this year that I'm looking at with absolute dread as they start stacking up. But I'm going to get them all done. It's going to be a fun time. And speaking of fun times, last week, it wasn't last Wednesday, we were off due to holidays, but that Thursday I did a live stream of the rectangle build, which, you know, against my better judgment, I built a PC and installed Linux on it live on the air. That's currently up for patrons if you want to go watch that. Or if you're a Twitch sub, you can go back and watch the VODs. And it went reasonably smooth. We ran into some problems. It was such a tiny build. It was a 7-liter case. And the size constraints were such as, here's a little 80 millimeter, 15 millimeter wide fan. Would not fit because I dared to try to plug in a SATA hard drive. There was not enough clearance if you plugged a SATA hard drive connector into the front.
Okay.
So fine, I'm going to, I ordered an NVMe, which will hopefully be here today as is tradition. That's going to show up. And so tomorrow we're going to install that and we're going to swap out a fiber optic card because I didn't put the one we were testing back and forth because it wouldn't initially pick up the fiber card. Turns out it was a fiber switch because it likes to do that sometimes and I had to restart everything. And we're going to reinstall Debian and, get Steam back up and running. It's going to be a fun time. So stay tuned to that. I'm going to say maybe 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Maybe. I'm not going to make any super promises on that. We're just going to work with it because that's kind of impromptu. I was like, you know what? I might as well. I want to finish it. Have a finality thing. Playing around with a bunch of stuff. Audio-wise, I am working. If you follow me on Mastodon or if you follow me on Twitter, you'll find out that I did not set the browser source, Jill. That's what you'll find out.
Okay.
And I'll be like, oh man, why didn't you do that, Vin? I'm like, because I wasn't paying attention. I was having too much fun. So
there we go.
Now that I've done that, I'm working on a quick and dirty guide for making podcasts on Linux with Reaper. So I got about an hour's worth of footage and it is so much to cover.
Oh yeah.
So much to, and I've been working to simplify this to like dial it down to the absolute basics. I'm probably going to have to break it into like modules, frighteningly close to actual like education blocks. Bear with me on this. We want to get it right. I want everybody sounding as good as possible, or at least get them pointed in the right direction. I want to arm you with the tools in the right way to think about making these things. Just sharing everything I want to know. That's the whole point of doing this, is to do spread Linux education. That's like, been my fighting force for a long time. And fair warning, audio might be a little bit wonky. Also, Jitsi might be a little bit wonky. But you know what? I was praising Jitsi in the pre-show, Joe. I was.
Okay, good.
The Jitsi box did a good job.
It did a good job yesterday. Yeah.
Did a good job on Saturday.
Yeah.
We had M. Foxdog from chat. So we were able to have a really good show, Linux Gamecast Weekly, with myself in Athens and Jordan in Toronto and Michael in Australia. We're still, low latency-ish. It's much better than Discord. That's what we were talking about. Because a lot of times, like when we're playing Trackmania, we'll say something and we got to like wait half a second for Michael to like get back with a reply because of the latency. It's just physical difference. Much better latency with Discord. Yeah, had a good time with that. So Jitsi might be a little bit wonky because I've changed the deal. I've modified some things because every time it updates, you just got to do that.
Things get moved around in the config files.
And I get grumpy.
Yeah.
How about you, Jill? You're back. You celebrated like 11 Christmases, didn't you?
Yes, lots of them. Except the last one we were going to do, I was feeling a little ill, so we cut that one. We're going to do that one at another time. But I did 3 major Christmases with 3 parts of the family, but it was actually really wonderful. And to see all the family and be able to get together with everyone since we had the pandemic and the lockdowns. Still dealing with that, of course, a bit, but at least now we can get together. So that's the important part. And I want to wish all our viewers and friends and patrons Happy New Year. Woohoo! So it was on Sunday, and Ven and Michael and Jordan were streaming LGC Weekly on New Year's Eve. So that was cool. Yeah, and I got so many goodies that I can't even show all my wonderful goodies here on the show, but I wanted to show a few things that I got. So one is my Steve husband got me these really, really cute wooden penguins, abstract penguins from Etsy. They're really cute. So I got a set of 4 of those.
Those look flammable.
And those are gonna, go on one of the desks of my computer setups, probably. Since I have 4 of them, I'm gonna spread them around all my different computers. And I also got, Ven, just before the show started, I haven't even had a chance to open these, but they got the Pine Buds Pro. The Pine 64 Pine Buds Pro. Yay!
Oh, man, you sold out, man. Yeah. You sold out with your Pro Pine Buds. I only listen to Pine Buds amateurs.
Yes.
No, those are cool. That's a nice looking box it came into.
Yeah, it's really spiffy. I can't wait to open them up after the show. And I also got something else in the mail recently that I haven't.
Got an Atari VCS.
Oh, you see it? Okay. I got this. Yes, the Atari VCS.
And don't you dare open it or take it out of the box. That's a collector's item.
Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely going to get open now that I'm feeling better. I'm going to play around with it probably today or tomorrow. Yay.
I'm going to be honest with everybody. I thought about ordering one of those Atari VCSs like that and just putting it in a closet wrapped up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell this in like 30 years. Oh, man. I'm glad you had a good time. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, first thing of 2023 I want to talk about is undeleting your files on Linux.
Oh, yeah.
This will happen to you. It absolutely will happen to you at some point. And you'll go, you'll find yourself on a Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo console typing in undelete Linux tools. And, of course, you're going to run into what my first thing I went to was, which I had installed, was TestDisk, because TestDisk has saved me before. And
yes.
I know. Even Jill in the notes was like, backups. The problem is backups won't save you from something that you deleted 30 minutes ago.
Yes, this is true.
And I ran into that, and I was like, oh, TestDisk. I'll just use TestDisk. That won't be a problem. And of course, I had to Google, like, what was the thing? I'm like, oh, no. Because guess what? It was on one of my XFS drives.
Ah, yeah. TestDisk and PhotoRec don't really like XFS.
Don't work at all.
Yeah.
At zero. No compatibility with XFS. And I was like, SGI would be very upset with you guys. But, XFS is one of those file systems. If you have something formatted, if you have a drive set up with XFS, you have good reason for it. It's recording drives that I use. Even like we're recording right now, it's one of those drives because it is dedicated like IO, and they're really good for writing large files that are high bit rate. Like this episode right here is going to be like 145 gigs for 30 minutes, plus all the audio stuff that's hitting it. So I have my reasons. I'm just trying to save that comment. You should try ButterFS or ext4. I did find this, and it worked. I was very happy about it. This is XFS_undelete. This will be in the show notes. Go check out our show notes at linuxgamecast.com for this episode. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a command line utility, which you shouldn't have a problem with that since you're already playing around for Linux. And, it only reads, it doesn't do any writing. So there's nothing you can't break it more. And it was real easy to set up. It's got distribution packages for OpenSUSE and of course Arch. And then I just cloned the Git, set it up. I ran it on the drive, and my video showed back up. I was so happy. I was so happy.
Oh, wonderful, Vin.
Because Jill, it was one of those things. It wasn't irreplaceable. What I'd done is it was, if you don't know, it takes, a couple hours to tear things down and set things up. I'm doing like an overhead shot. If you've watched Interfacing Linux, or if you're going to watch the live stream tomorrow for the rectangle, is that takes a couple hours to move things around and set up different cameras and all that. I had recorded an overhead shot for the podcasting thing, and I didn't want to lose an entire day's worth of stuff.
Yeah.
So this saved that. It got that for me.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yay.
And when it comes to video files, they're, large. So it takes some time to back them up, and you can't always back them up immediately after you're recording because you're busy, preparing for your next shot. So, oh, poor Ben.
It was, well, like the mezzanine, the stuff I record, like I would need, and you see like larger YouTube channels and places like that, they start talking about like their insane NASs.
Mm-hmm.
And they need them. They need them. Even, if I was responsible, because I record in DNX HD, which is, that's a lossless format.
Yeah.
And, it's like recording directly to ProRes for my brothers and sisters out there that are not familiar with DNX HD. And it's still an Avid joint. Once I was done with that, if I wanted to save it, I'd bust it down to like H.265 lossless if I ever needed it, and that would shrink it. But I'm not responsible enough to do that. Once I get the project out the door, Jill, I just delete that stuff. Why? Because I don't have, a petabyte NAS, which admittedly, I think in the long run would save me a lot of time if I could if I could just get that B-roll footage that I did from like 2 years ago on that one episode, and I just reshoot the stuff. We do stuff on a budget here. That's how we roll.
Well, you're creating too much content too every week, so
I'm not creating enough content to justify it. I'm not. We don't have like a production line here. It's like I sit down and I try to keep things backed up. Usually I got things backed up like on an SD card from whatever I'm recording from, because I'll just put in like a low res. But hey, XFS_undelete works in that rare occasion. Moral of the story: don't format your drives in XFS.
Yeah.
How about that?
There you go. Or maybe do some mirroring. Do a couple drives and mirror it while you're recording.
Then we run back into that, like, those drives are really expensive too.
Oh, yeah, I know. I used to have to do that back in the day with animation.
So let's talk about something that is Return from the Dead for 2023, and it's right, and this is like pinpoints, like, yes.
Yes, this is very exciting. So we have a very important Ubuntu Linux flavor that was actually lost in 2016 that will be able to resurface once again in our classrooms. Edubuntu is back. Yay! So the Edubuntu project had started back in 2005, and sadly, due to a lack of contributors, was ended with the release of Edubuntu 14.04 LTS. But this is what's cool. Ubuntu Studios, Eric Eichmeyer and his wife, Amy, whose background is in education, are the ones stepping up to reboot and revive the spin. This is awesome, because that's one of the best distros around, and they have a proven track record with being able to package apps and keep them updated consistently. So this will be really great. And the aim is actually for this release is to take part in the Ubuntu 23.04 release this April. And if all goes well, they're going to reapply to become an official Ubuntu flavor once again. I was just so excited about this news. For one, Ven, actually over the years, and when Edubuntu, they stopped development, I know a lot of teachers, organizations, and schools had to rush to find alternative distros to use. And a lot of them used UberMix, which is actually a very great distro. But it took a lot of time for them to transition to a new distro. And, that always has its challenges. So this was really awesome news. And they have lots of awesome plans for Edubuntu 23.04, including they will use the same desktop and apps as regular Ubuntu. There's going to be yes, absolutely smart. And then a new logo. They'll use Yaru's red theme by default. and the default application folders by education subjects such as math, science, language. An installer based on Ubuntu Studios. Woohoo, of course. That's an awesome installer. And curated software, meta packages based on age and age of the kids, whether they're, preschool, elementary, or high school. And a meta installer to quickly remove groups of irrelevant applications.
Meta uninstall.
Yeah, meta. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you for correcting me, Van. A meta uninstaller. And this is really nice because you remember back in the day, you could get a live CD or DVD of Edubuntu, but it also came as a series of packages that you could just install directly in Ubuntu, much like Ubuntu Studio does. So it's nice to have a quick uninstaller to remove all those applications if you don't need them. And this is just amazing. I was so happy.
That's beautiful. I'm just happy to see this. Anything when it comes to Linux, because Linux is the perfect software for like a foundation for educational software, because it's never going to, licenses are never going to change on you, and you're always going to be able to use it, and you don't have to worry about, you can keep what you want to do. And I'm just so happy that this project is back, and back with some gusto too. Yeah.
Absolutely. With some great people behind it. In fact, right now, I am on Ubuntu Studio with XFCE. So, yay.
Ubuntu Studio.
Yeah. So,
I don't know if wait. I think I've tried Ubuntu Studio like way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good for people that are, no, I don't know. Hang on, let's take a look at Ubuntu Studio. What's it currently looking like these days?
So, anyways, I often recommend it for my students because it has, a Krita, the GIMP, and Blender installed by default. So it's just a great Kdenlive. It's a really good introduction to open source video and audio software. Also. It has all the Jack tools, and it comes with all that stuff, which is nice.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking a look at it right now. I haven't looked at Ubuntu. Jill said that, and I'm like, man, I haven't looked at Ubuntu Studio in a long time.
Long time.
Look at their slick website. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Now it uses KDE Plasma, too. I'm still on XFCE.
Oh, well, it's a shame we're unable to switch our desktops in Linux.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I never bothered installing the KDE version, although I like KDE, but I want an XFCE for stability.
A long-running joke I have is like, oh man, I want to change my desktop. I better install this other distribution. People, you can change your desktops no matter what distribution you're running.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything, if you're new to Linux, there's your pro tip right there. So, what do we have up next? Ooh, that's right. We got to talk about Handbrake.
Speaking of multimedia,
right?
Linux.
Handbrake. You know it, you love it. I use it. Jill's used it. You've probably used it at home. Transcoding. You need to convert the video from one type to A to B to bust it down. You need to make YouTube videos. You want to make videos for your TikToks. Yeah, it's got a TikTok setting. Like everything else, man. It's got, it's even got settings for Discord. You want to share video, to keep it under that 8 megabyte limit. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big announcement because they finally added AV1 video encoding support.
Woohoo.
Hardware.
Yay.
Encoding. Now, currently, this only works for the Intel Arc series. We don't have support for the AMD cards or the new series of AMD or the 40 series of NVIDIA, but it's officially in the break. I'm happy to see this. AV1 is the future that HEVC H.265 has completely deprived us of, which I'm very, very happy to see. I'm still waiting on a piece of hardware that can encode AV1 because I'm NVIDIA. I'm not spending $1,000 on a video card. AMD. I'm not spending $999 on a video card. That's not even, quit trying to make that's cool or something. That's still not cool. Jill, what are your thoughts with this, though? You excited?
I am. I think their NVIDIA and AMD support hardware encoding support is coming. I just have that feeling. So yeah, Handbrake, thank you for the AV1 support. And you have NVENC HEVC 10-bit encoder support as well. And the H2.65422 profile for video toolbox encoder on Apple Silicon support. So that is awesome, supporting the Apple Silicon. Yay!
Apple's kind of weird, especially with the M series processors, because you will run into situations where those will just outperform x86, especially when it comes to encoding. So, you know,
yeah,
that's going to be a strange one. There's a not unreasonable future where you have like a bunch of like Mac Minis, like M series, M2s, M1s, or M11s, whatever they're at the time, as like render farms, especially once we get everything figured out on the Linux side with them.
Yeah.
Good work, everybody involved with Handbrake. Happy to see it. I'm waiting for, you know, AV1 support. That's the only thing that has me remotely interested. It had me interested in the, you know, latest ARC card, and I can't get excited. I've never been excited about buying an NVIDIA card. Never have. As much as you would love to have your fanfic about like, oh, I love NVIDIA so
Team
much.
Green.
Yeah. Nope. Not even a little bit. I begrudgingly purchase. I'm not excited at all about the 40 series. I just think that pricing is completely out of whack, and AMD's no better this time. You know, I expected better from AMD. But it's good that it's there. But I think, unfortunately, there's only about 12 or 13 of us excited about AV1 hardware encoding. It's going to get interesting when we're able to start streaming. Then I'm going to look into it a little bit more, especially when Twitch lights up the ability to ingest AV1. So, speaking of streaming, though, you might know, if you happen to have the cable TV, it doesn't matter who you have, really. If you have Spectrum, or if you have Comcast, or other providers in North America, in the United States, I should say, you usually get a ability for like to watch stuff on demand and streaming. Unless you run Linux. Because man, like in the old days, Xfinity just does not work on Linux out of the box at all. Like not even a little bit. And a gentleman wanted to watch it. And as in true tradition, he got to watch it because, hey, the quickest way to get insert product here, be it software or hardware, reverse engineered, don't support Linux. And that's kind of what happened. So basically, he set up a system. You know, by the way, this was a completely arbitrary block on Linux. By the way, there was nothing. This is like old school Netflix used to do back in the day. Like, we just block Linux. Why? Why not? So, okay. Yeah, and you know, you're thinking, well, you know, there's a couple of tricks we can do. Let's change the user agent. Nope, that didn't work. So it found out that it does work on Chrome OS. So his original plan was to extract Chrome OS's widevine, the CDM from a recovery image, and load that into Firefox and use that for the Xfinity stream. Didn't work because apparently Google patched glibc with some extra bits. He ended up compiling glibc without the glibc ABI DT RELR, and it worked. It worked.
Nice.
He made it work, and there'll be a link to everything. All in all, the whole situation is indeed ridiculous. It shouldn't be this much hard to access media legally. And he makes the point, this is way easier just to pirate it. It absolutely would have been.
Well, what's so annoying about this is they use Linux on the back end. So go figure. So, you know, back when I was on cable, I had this issue also with the Time Warner app working on Linux. It was so annoying. You had to do hacks just to watch your content.
It's stuff like this from way back when, especially if you keep track of the show, like a decade ago. I was walking around with tablets when tablets were like fancy, weird moon devices. You're like, oh, what's that? You have a tablet? Oh, and you know, people wonder, now there's commodity. You can go to Amazon and buy a tablet for like $80. I bought it because I wanted to watch Netflix. And
Yeah.
you could not watch Netflix on Linux. Like,
Yeah.
there was just no way to do it. It was not possible. Like, unless you wanted to have a VM spooled up to watch Netflix in a browser. And, even today.
Even today, it's 720p.
Well, you got to do the hack. You got to use the Wi-Fi and to get anything over 720p, which is still ridiculous. And, that's why I've went to like tablets for media consumption. Because of junk like this, I wouldn't have bothered, but I'm glad somebody did. And yeah, it's ridiculous. In 2023, we still have to do stuff like this to watch something that you're paying for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since I don't know what they're thinking. Like, Linux is for hackers. Well, if
Windows
we really want to hack,
hackers.
we can't. If we can't watch your content, then how are we else are we going to watch it?
See, they're asking the wrong question, and I brought this up a couple of times. The question is never, am I going to watch it? I'm not asking you if I'm going to watch it. No. I'm going to watch it. That's not a question. That's not a variable in our discussion. I'm watching it. Now, the question is, are you going to let me give you money for it?
Yeah.
Because if you give me that option and you make it really convenient, Steam.
We're paying for the service. Yes.
Right. Look at Netflix. You make it really easy. You put the stuff on there I want. You know what? I'm going to give you money. Why? Because I'm getting older and I'm lazy and I don't have the time to go digging around finding torrents and stuff like that and download them these days. So it's weird seeing antiquated stuff like this trying to fight. And, when we talk about Linux and they talk about piracy, I want someone to show me this mythical place that I've not found in the 30 years of mainlining penguins.
Yeah.
I want you to show me this hive of scum and villainy where all of the pirated Linux software and the pirated Linux games sit so I can visit it that one time because I've never seen it.
Yeah. Same here, Ben. I mean the
You want pirated software, Jill? It's going to be Windows software. You want pirated games, Jill? Windows games.
Absolutely, Ven. And, darn it, all your developers, whether it be on Netflix or Amazon Prime, they're using Linux on the back end and they complain because they can't test their software on the platform they are developing on. What moon universe are we in?
It's things fortunately they are changing.
Yeah, thank goodness. And we are paying, we're paying for Netflix, we're paying for Hulu, we're paying for all the things, and I just want to watch it on all my devices. That's not a hard ask.
It is, and admittedly, like watching video, like streaming video on desktop, that's kind of an edge case these days. But hey, that option should be there. Shouldn't be any artificial blocks because reasons and
and in creating those artificial blocks, they're actually forcing you to hack and
that's a pirate's excuse now, Joe.
Yeah.
Like, you're twisting my arm, man.
Yeah.
See, you don't understand. If I don't watch this thing, I'll die.
Yeah.
No, you won't. I'll feel really sad. I'm like, that's cool, but quit twisting my arm. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I can't back up that particular. Like, I'm being forced to pirate.
Everything legitimate. Yeah, I am happy to pay for anything. I was happy when we moved from Napster to starting to pay for our music because I was, that goes to the
I wasn't.
creators.
I was a broke teenager. I was a broke college kid. I wasn't happy about any of that. See, I'm not a hypocrite, man. I mean, what's special was like media. It's easy for me to say like games and software because, again, been running Linux for 30 years. There's no pirate sites for Linux games and software because it's few and far between.
Non-existent. Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I can't say that anymore with the game side of things. And, Linux software, like every piece of Linux software, I got a license for it. I'll show you. But, back when I was in university, I mean, I was broke, man. I didn't have any money. And I was grateful that we had things like Napster. But, then later on in life, I don't have
when
time.
you can afford it.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about your quality. Oh, did I get a good download of something? And like, I don't even download stuff anymore. I just stream everything. But like, I want something there. I want it on demand, and I want it to sound good or look good, and it to, you know, hopefully be there next time I go back to watch it. But, you know, hey, welcome to 2023. Speaking of 2023, let's talk about 2022.
Oh, yeah. So this is something cool. So would you like to win a desktop workstation?
Yep.
Well, yes. The fine folks at System 76 are giving one away as a holiday gift and a New Year's gift to you. So PNY, NVIDIA, and System 76 have actually teamed up to give away a System 76 Thelio Mira workstation with an NVIDIA RTX A4500. Woohoo! So check out the Watch to Win contest for details on entering. There are 16 ways to enter, and the deadline for entry is January 31st. And when I checked yesterday, there were 12,778 entries. So actually, your chances are good. That's not as high as that it could be, although that may have changed today.
Well, you know, you're going to get the ones out there that are like, oh, you can put Windows 11 on it. But you know what? I'm no better. I'm like, I'm just going to take the A4500 out of it.
Yeah. And so this system has an Intel Core i9.
121,000 entries right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it has gone up. Good. I knew it would. Very, very nice.
i9 13900K. How much memory? 32 gigs of RAM. That's a little thin for a workstation, but I mean, it's there. I mean, for the price, you can't beat it. And it's one of those things. It's that where you opt in and you like and subscribe and you do all the clicks for the extra things and
the Gleam.
Yeah, that Gleam types thing. So I mean, go for it if you want. I mean, it never hurts. It could be one of those things that I remember one time and we're talking like 2002, 2003. I'd entered an AMD contest just randomly. And to win like a motherboard and CPU, and like 6 months later, I get an email and I thought it was spam. Fortunately, I didn't delete it, and I won. That was like the one time I've ever won anything.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Like, oh. And so, what else do we have? Because this is part of System 76's a year in review, and you know what? They've been a good member of the Linux community. So I want to just like
absolutely
talk to let Jill tell you about some of the things they've been up to.
Yeah, so they really did have an awesome year in 2022, and not the least of which was the Launch Lite and the Launch Heavy keyboards were released. And in case you missed it, check out my quick review of the Launch Heavy keyboard in the intro on LWDW number 356. And so we got new hardware. The Thelio desktop now has swappable accents, so you can customize it to your color and liking. You can create your own panels for the front, or buy some of the ones that they have made already, like of course wood accents, or pink or blue. And the big release of Pop! OS 22.04 LTS came out, and I am loving it. I have it installed on about 4 different machines right now, including my gaming rig behind me. And the transition for the Cosmic desktop to the Rust code is underway, and I think we're going to see the launch of that this year. They've been working hard on transitioning from using GNOME and creating their own desktop and making it all based on Rust, which is awesome, the Rust coding language.
It'll be fascinating to watch.
Yeah, it really is. This is exciting also because in past episodes I have mentioned with the Linux kernel getting more Rusty code, this should help make Cosmic DE desktop created in Rust run even faster, because then they'll be working together.
Oh yeah, we'll have 2 slow things working together to make them slower.
No, it's supposed to be
the slowest part of the Linux kernel. Rust.
No.
Yes, I can prove that with maths.
Oh, well, but it's more secure and very stable.
It's memory safe, but it's also slow.
Yeah. So Thelio and actually Thelio Major joined Thelio Mira in offering now an AMD Ryzen 7000 series processor options alongside 13 Gen Intel processors. So lots of major things happened.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff that went on. I'm glad we got System 76 around. Love them or hate them, just be glad that they're there. I know it's a weird thing to do, but they have been good stewards and, promoting Linux and never had a problem with it.
Absolutely. And to have a homegrown, company that makes Linux laptops.
They're trying. I mean, they started out like, hey, let's just do build white boxes, go back in on the Wayback Machine, look at some of the early stuff from System 76. Like, I can respect that type of, just starting with that and building to where, they're machining their own cases and stuff along those lines, which is very impressive. Then again, I'm looking at, even me, I give my hard time about the Atari wood grain, but, I do it lovingly. And, creating your own desktop manager, I think, is completely bonkers. But I'm all for it. I'm like,
it's amazing.
It could be an incredibly bad idea, but hey, at least you're trying. You're doing something different. You're doing something new. And they do contribute back to the open source community. So
yeah, absolutely. Linux is first.
There you go. We need wood grain keyboards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, with the Launch Heavy, I could have gotten keycaps for it that were wood grain, fake wood grain. They do make those.
That would be insufferable. Man. So if you'd like to help us continue being insufferable, you can do that. Head over to linuxgamecast.com. We got a support button. We got Patreon, we got merch, we got PayPal donations, we got wish lists for the studio, for Jordan, for Pedro, for Jill. We take that Bitcoin's completely crashed. If you send that in, it's no value to it, but I will convert that into studio equipment. Best way to support us, patreon.com/LinuxGamecast. We got a bunch of different levels, membership levels, chair links, death notes, sea monsters, and above. Unlocks all kind of cool stuff that we do, up to and including, if you like this show, there's a full live and uncut version of it produced just for you in your custom RSS feed. You get access to our Discord, invites to things like Jordan's going to be rocking and rolling tomorrow with our patrons in Borderlands 3. They'll be live here on Twitch at 7:30. I'm going to be doing a live stream. It lets us do stuff like that. Pick up hardware, pay for the hosting. You ever notice, like, hey, if you go to download an episode of Linux Gamecast, it's not at some fireside or wherever data hoovering thing. No, we hosted ourselves. Pay for it out of pocket. Yeah. So I've been doing that for 10 years. It ain't cheap. And yeah, a couple of things we're going to be sticking together this year. Unless something goes incredibly wrong, we're going to be building an Epic PC this year. And that is going to be, it's a horrible idea. And it's so horrible. I love it. I'm excited about it, Jill. But I do want to thank Ogie1 for increasing his Patreon pledge. Hakeem for increasing his Patreon pledge. And I do believe George, because I think George has been fighting the good fight to become a patron for the better part of a week. I think he's having an issue with I've seen his name pop in and out. Set up and like notifications, and I'm like, thank you so much. That means the world to us. Also, if you want to watch last week's Rectangle build, that is up for patrons right now. I think that'll go out this Friday if you want to be patient about it. For the general public, if you want to see that. Because, I'm not real big on throwing stuff behind paywalls, but we do got to pay the bills. So check this out. Store.linuxgamecast.com. We got merch. I'm going to be bringing back the Linux Weekly Daily Wednesday t-shirt.
Yay!
It's coming back. I'm doing redesigns of stuff. Hopefully by the end of this month, I'll have that together. The latest thing is, of course, the Frank hoodie. If you know Frank,
it's beautiful. I like the Frank razor tee, razor tank top for razor tank top for ladies. I gotta grab that.
Oh man, and we do have our new slogan, Linux Gamecast, not a cult. Probably.
I love that. That's great, man.
Show your support. All that stuff is priced at effectively no margin, because if you want to like advertise our stuff, I want you to be able to do it on the cheap. I get notifications all the time. Anytime they increase the price at Teespring, they're like, you need to raise the price because you won't be making any money. I'm like, well, can I make negative money? Like, no. I'm like, okay, I'll change it back to break even. Thank you for your support, everybody. It is awesome. We do appreciate it. Now, the last little bit of the show, we like to talk about Raspberry Pis or just embedded computing, SBCs. And this week, we want to talk about security, home alarm systems. I've had places over the years with different types of home alarm systems built into them. And by that, I mean, I've had them and I've never had them activated. I think once I called them like, hey, what's this thing called? Like for monitoring. And it was like $27 a month. I'm like, what do you do? Nothing? Okay. Yeah. So I just give you $27 and I feel good. Like, yeah, pretty much. We'll call the cops. Like, cops aren't going to do anything when I show them. Like, they might get there a couple hours later. I mean, so this guy, Thomas, decided to build his own home security system using Raspberry Pi. And he went all in. He went ham with it. This is
amazing.
I was reading through this and it just keeps
going. Yeah.
This table of contents, like we're talking about, like, I mean, this is the type of person that I get along with. Is like this is engineering right here. This is, I got a plan laid out for everything I'm going to be doing from all the way to the end. And he said it took about a year to put all this together. And I've never considered doing a DIY security system. But Thomas, you did. And, you know, to keep things interesting, he decided to use a Raspberry Pi 3 at the heart of the system, mainly because it had an Ethernet port on the back, and he was able to use that because he believes, much like most of us, if you can hardwire it, hardwire it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got a chuckle at this. He's like, oh yeah, and by the way, I needed a security system that I could SSH into. And I'm like, of course you did. That makes perfect sense. I have a camera that I can telnet into, so why not, brother? So this is a full-on security alarm system, and it supports hardwired and the MQTT sensors. So if you have like the wireless stuff, that should sync up, shouldn't be a problem. And it does the multiple MQTT alarm panels with like set states. It's got a battery backup built into this. And of course, Home Assistant integration just works with the auto discovery, picks everything up. He goes through the entire build here. It's so cool. He's got a GitHub page.
It's amazing.
With all of his modifications. Look at some resistor stacks. Oh man, he's using through hole resistors. That's I like to see that. Why? Because I'm lazy like that too, and I hate doing surface mount stuff. Here we go. Here's an early test of the Python script with a Raspberry Pi Zero. Oh yeah, he tried to do it initially with a Raspberry Pi Zero W.
And it was not powerful enough.
Yeah, it just didn't have the. There it is, mounted in the box. I mean, that looks serviceable. I mean, especially if you built it, you know.
I mean, just look at all the money he's saving. I mean, I know here in Los Angeles, to have a home security system, I know people who spend up to $200 a month on that service. So it's just insane. And, you know, they have proprietary software, and this is so nice because you can use, you know, the open source Home Assistant, which is awesome. And this is just really wonderful. Amazing. Look at he even did the dial pad.
Got motion detectors. I mean, so, you know, you got to say, like, the time investment, the DIYs, like, do you do this or do you buy a dog? No.
Yeah.
Either or. I like this. I just love the amount of detail in this, and I love when people just go all out. Yeah, there's like motion, using the Bosch PIR motion sensors. That's so fun. That's so fun. This is excellent. Look, I went and looked at Home Assistant. Home Assistant has gotten fancy.
Oh, it's gotten really fancy. It's very incredible what you can do now with Home Assistant. I've thought about setting it up myself to control lights and whatnot when we're gone. Simple things like that, but it'll do really complex things too. It's amazing.
It looks slick. It looks nice. Maybe you can even rig it up to like make mannequins dance in front of your windows in case you're left home alone.
Oh yeah, we did one time on LWDW cover a Home Assistant, a robot. Remember that would guard the house? That was like, we talked about it a couple of years ago. That was pretty amazing. He controlled it with Home Assistant.
Goodbye, pen. My pen decided to jump out of my hands because why? I was fiddling with it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, everyone. That's fun. We got to run. Speaking of running, a little bit long. We'll see you next week. Before we get out of here, let's roll some credits. Thanks, people.
Thanks to all our wonderful patrons.
There's supposed to be credits there. There they are.
There they are.
Whew, that was
Linux
good.
Gamecast Original Series with your hosts, Vin Stone and me, Jill Bryant. And we have lots of people to thank, including our advisors, Omegas and Artherin.
And of course, all of our executive producers, Pebble, You Know It, Hakim,
Barbrandt,
Super Death Star.
Yeah.
Strider, what is that supposed to be? Is that
our
what
Sea
you
Monsters, Darkwing, Nubbin, Veritanuda, Justin, Treggy, our Death Notes, lots of Stevens, including my Steve husband. Chairlings, too many for me to
It's a
name.
line of purple awesomeness. That's what our chairlings are. So
yeah, they're amazing. We have
hey,
so many
everyone.
awesome patrons.
Keep being awesome. Get out there, do something crazy with Linux, and we will see you again next week. Come watch us live if you get a chance.
Yeah.
3 p.m. on Wednesdays. Bye-bye.
Love you all. Hey.
Lots of Stevens. It's raining Stevens. Raining cats and Steves.
Yes. Do, 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 do. Hi, Brother Jelly Bean. Yeah, the world needs more Stevens or more people like my Steve husband. There are probably some not nice Steves out there, but
you hear that,
all the
Steve?
Steves.
Steve, do you hear that? Steve, do you hear that? Jill wants a backup just in case.
No. All the Steves that
You're
contribute
replaceable,
to...
buddy. Just need another one.
No. All the Steves that contribute and pledge on Patreon to LGC are 100% in my book.
Clone.
Yeah, cloning myself. Yeah. Aww. I need you to clone yourself, honey. I could have multiple Steve husbands to help me with my projects around the house. That would be nice, huh? Maybe I could have one that goes, you go to work, one goes to work, the original goes to work, and then your clone helps me at home work on things. Because it's not like you don't have enough time to do that. Drome army.
Multiplicity.
So
I don't know,
the-
the whole thing with
True, FX boy, very true. Yes, that is a thing.
I like the idea of clones, especially how people are weirded out when they get their pet cloned and they're like, this dog or this cat is nothing like my previous one. I'm like, I know, right? Doesn't that mess with your head?
Yeah.
You'll end up with a Steve clone that isn't into
Nice beastie.
doing all
That's
the
great.
manual stuff. He's going to be into tech and he's going to take all your stuff.
Uh-oh. No,
Yeah.
I don't want that.
He's going to take over your room. He's like, I need to use this for streaming. Sorry, Joel. You got to wait outside. You're not going to like that clone a bit.
Probably not. Oh, well, then he'll just have to take some time to work on another room in the house to get it prepared for streaming because he can't have wife's room.
What if he does and it's better than yours?
It probably won't be better, but because the other room has more windows, it's a little colder, and during the winter, a little warmer. In the summer, that's why I'm in this room, because it's in between rooms in the house, so it stays nice.
It's a long ways in. You wouldn't like that either.
No. No. I've talked to Steve's husband about switching into the bigger room. And he doesn't like that idea. No.
Well, I mean, you guys have been planning to put up shelves in that room longer than you've been doing this show, so.
Yeah. Well, I decided there's so many projects we need to do, and that is one of them that wasn't priority. The priority is to build another studio in the backyard for me so that when we're working on the house, I have somewhere to work. That's been part of that problem. We decided it was better to create more space. So that's something we're slowly working on when he's able to. Steve husband said he's going to try and take more days off this coming year, and so we can work on things. It's been hard. It's hard when he works, 80-hour weeks. So
Steve, I feel for you, brother.
Yeah, it's really hard to work on the house. We have so many projects that need to be done, but I think one of the priorities to be able to work on the house is to be able to create a space that I can work, because I work from home now. So
I need to do a little bio break, everyone.
Okay.
And we'll hang out, let's see, 40, we'll hang out about 10 minutes. Then I got to get to work on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah, house day, yeah. It is. My husband is worked to death at work. So, yeah, there's something we can do to save a lot of money. Bio break sounds like a good idea. Yeah, Beastie, weren't the maps yesterday, weren't they fun? I really enjoyed that collection of maps. They're going to be fun to practice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were fun. Yeah, I'm gonna try and sneak in today at some point. No, maybe one of these days you can join us on Friday. It's been a while. Be nice to have you in on Friday, Beastie. But I think you work. I think you're usually working. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, Gamatron, yeah. If you can't join in Friday, that's okay. I was just happy to see you on Tuesday. Do, 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 do. Yeah, it's really, So, long story short, we're supposed to have the big storm is supposed to hit here on the West Coast. Call it a cyclone bomb. What a nice name. So, I'm hoping that our power doesn't go out tomorrow. So, yeah, so I'm hoping our power doesn't go out, and so I can watch all the streams and do work. But by Friday, it's supposed to be blown through, and then we'll just be continually having rain. We've just continually actually have had rain for the last 2 days, just constant. It hasn't stopped. And the rain isn't the problem, it's the wind. So we heard that they're tonight, late tomorrow morning, actually early tomorrow morning, we're supposed to have winds 50 to 60 miles an hour, and that's something we aren't used to here in Cali, on the coast. Yeah, Mir, I noticed you haven't had. It's just been raining and raining here, and I was checking our local newscast and checking the weather from different services, and apparently here we're right on the coast at the beach. We're going to get hit one of the hardest here in LA. So even Steven's boss has let them stay home tomorrow to be off the roads. Yeah, you're used to it. You're used to it, but we aren't. I mean, occasionally we'll get 50 or 60 mile an hour gusts, but this is supposed to be for like a couple hours worth. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it might.
So everyone, don't worry about it. I mean, it's Californians, are especially native Californians, they're skittish to this thing called weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't really have.
We don't have it that much.
That. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
perpetually like 18 degrees sunny. Like that's why people move to California, man, especially like Southern Cali. I was talking in the pre-show. A friend of mine, she told me that called out of work. Like, I'm not driving to work. Like, why? Like, why aren't you at work? Like, oh, it's raining in San Fran. It's like, this is a valid excuse to be like, I'm not driving.
Well, they were having flooding, a lot of flooding there, so it
was just raining,
scary.
Man. You know, it's like, because she works right outside the Mission District.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, I know where that is.
I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to deal with it. So as is tradition, everybody. Presents showed up while we were doing the show. I just happened to.
Okay, that's what you're doing.
Now I went to get something to drink, and on the way back, I'm like, you know what? Let's head up to the front.
And there.
Yeah, just opened, looked outside. I'm like, yep, there it is. So we have a NVMe drive, which is an SP. Did you know more SP products in use? I never heard of SP. Do you know what an SP NVMe 1.3 is? It's M.2 Gen 3x4 with a 5-year warranty. Silicon Power is the
I actually have a few of I have one of their NVMe drives.
What is this? Let me tell you what this is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. This is $19 on Amazon's what this is. 128 gigs. So tomorrow we're going to drop this bad boy, this fire-breathing beast of speed and reliability into Rectangle.
Yeah.
And put some, here's boring studio stuff that no one cares about. And I don't blame you. Split sleeving vinyl, tubes or cables. Yeah. When I say I'm doing arts and crafts, I'm like doing wiring and stuff like that here. That would be a very boring live stream, I assure you, unless you just want to watch me laid out on the floor.
Aw.
Well, you know, when you got to do some like real stuff, it's when you like get comfortable. You're like, fine, all right, let's get up under the thing, start pulling cables, and get them all nice and wrapped up. So yeah, well, I guess we will be doing a stream tomorrow, like at noon, probably noon, 1 o'clock. Let's say for noon.
I'm hoping at 9 a.m. I have power. Keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah, Mira,
I should be popping in.
I'm sure this has no DRAM cache, or if it does, it's like how many megabytes of DRAM cache? I would even say gigabytes. But then again, this box is, it's not gonna have writes done to it. It's going to be used for Trackmania and what we're doing right now, which basically just sits in RAM.
The SP drives, I've grabbed a few of those from AliExpress just to test them, and they've been okay. I got an NVMe drive, a small one for one of my older machines, and then a couple SSDs too, like Mir, because they work. They're just not the fastest, of course. They're cheap, but
yeah, that's all we're looking for. Here it is right here. $19. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been seeing them more and more on Amazon lately.
And 3D NAND. I'm sure it is blazingly maybe as fast as an SSD. But again, we're not getting this because it's an NVMe. We're getting this because it will allow me to put the fan in the case. Because I can't have the SSD plugged into it. Yeah, it doesn't. 21 per second. It's probably optimistic.
Yeah. More like 18, 16, 18.
How are the I didn't even look at the reviews. Here's the thing. I just bought this because it was like $20. Because how little of the requirements I have for it. Yeah, I wouldn't use it for gaming. Well, you know what? It might not make a bad gaming. If you're I'm using it to read data off of. I'm not going to be writing stuff to it outside. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, if you need, maybe it won't be DOA. We got one DOA from Alex. I'm sorry, Alex. Austin seems to have worked. See, he's got the right idea. Shoving a little tiny thermal note box like I'm using, and away we go.
Yeah, true FX boy. Doesn't I think even the slowest SSD is always going to be faster than spinning Rust. So.
I want to build a reverse SSHDD Gamatron. I want an NVMe drive with the IBM Compact Flash 1 gig spinning drive on it for cache.
Ah.
What was that? It was the size of a Compact Flash.
Yeah.
Oh, they still sell these? Yeah, they do. This is that's a Compact Flash. You know how big a CF card is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I bought one of those recently for one of my older machines.
This is yeah. You would use something like this back in the day when you just like a 1 gigabyte of capacity was a ludicrous. It just didn't exist in solid state drives. You know, a compact. We're talking about a compact. I have a compact flash card that's 4 megabytes, and that was considered huge. Massive capacity.
Yeah, I remember those.
And that's when this came out. And when you open that critter up, there's a spinning bladder drive inside of that thing.
Yeah, they're really cute.
See if you can find one. The one I got didn't work. I just bought one off eBay a long time ago, and like, wasn't there? I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. So I put a couple of those in my. Not my my internet kiosks that I have. Thin clients. I put a couple of those in thin clients.
I mean, if you want, like now they serve no purpose. Like it's just an unneeded failure point. But yeah, it's an interesting piece of history.
Yeah.
Type 2 5mm versus 3.3. All right. Yeah. Nokia phone? They used them in a Nokia.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man, that's kind of wild. Yeah, I've never bothered to actually try to use it or put it into anything because like it was just always been a curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Like that was interesting way to go about doing things. And you know, if you like little tiny drives, I'm like, there you go. See, I want to put one of those as the DRAM cache on an NVMe.
Ah, cool.
Do it backwards.
Do it backwards.
It was even smaller.
Well, with a bigger platter.
Well, it
would still be slower, but at least the platter would be.
It would be an order of magnitude like that. That's the whole point of the joke of how much slower it would be.
Yeah. But to use it as cache or DRAM
or anything, having to break it down to like whatever the write speed, how many megabytes a second that thing can write. I don't know what's sustained read and writes on those things. I'm assuming somewhere around like 2, possibly 3 megabytes a second.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
I would have to go back and like dig up what the compact flash spec was at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, like spinning drives make no sense. I mean, unless you're like into like hoarding data, and like that's cool. Like you don't have to justify yourself. You do you. Buying a spinning drive right now for like casual use just doesn't make any sense to me. That's okay. You know, I'm allowed to do that. I don't,
I've been replacing a lot of my old spinning Rust with SSDs and using adapters in some of my old machines. But I still, sometimes buy a spinning Rust just to replace a system drive that I want to keep original.
And I'm on team spinning glass, not spinning Rust.
Yeah, spinning glass is cool.
Pro tip. Don't smash one of those platters that you assume to be metal, because it's not metal.
Yeah.
I've always considered like hard drives like Rube Goldberg mechanisms, especially the ones today with like hammer drives and like shingle drives and like helium.
Yeah,
like,
the helium ones are pretty cool.
Once you get to that point of having to have a drive with helium sealed in it to make it work, like just buy an SSD, man. Come on.
I know.
just let it go. Backups. You know what? Get some tape backups so it'll last longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have some crazy warm storage requirements, but you know, like I typically only need like 1.5 to 1.8 terabytes at any given time for a project. So I'm usually good. Now, does that mean that I don't want an 8 terabyte NVMe drive? I'd love to have one. I wouldn't know what to do with it. How full are your drives?
Oh, I like to keep them at least only half capacity if I can. Right now I have lots of audio files. But
Let's play the game, everybody. Everybody who wants to participate in the game, you know how to do it. You know what's happening. We're going to DF the terminal. Here we go. That's the main box I'm on right now.
Okay.
Everybody knows how to do screenshots. Steamy's at 90% capacity. That's my gaming drive. Crunch is at 29. Dump is at 44. Root partition is 30%. So yeah. And you know what? The Steamy drive is that old Kingston 256 that I bought probably 8-9 years ago for like $99 because it was on flash sale at Newegg. And I didn't even like need it. And I checked the smart data that drive is in perfect health. Like I thought out of all my drives, that would be the most clapped out, worn down. Nope.
Yeah, one of my drives, the drive I'm on right now only has 27% usage, but I have another one that's at 98 because that's where I put all my audio files for podcasting. I need to clean it off.
Let's take a look. Alan's participating. Kinda. 84% use. All right. Root drive. Home partition. 100% on home. That's a bit smashed up. Why do you only have a 4 gig home partition? What's up with that? There's got to be a story there. 97% on your... Yay!
See what...
16% on root. How's the home? 16%. All right. SSD. I like the naming convention. SSD. I can respect that. Game drive. All right. You got a much larger games drive than I do, but yeah, we're both living that 90% lifestyle. And all right. Let's see. Mir's only at 18% on root. We've got a couple of SSDs, 70, 90, 80. All right, home partitions at 60. That's fine. That's a little over half, but that's good, especially when your root's at 18. Arthur, see, I mean, again, everybody does their own thing. I get away with having my Steamy drives 250 gigs. But you know, if I want to play something, I only keep a couple of games installed at a time. Mainly because of the size of the drive. And yes, I was checking the smart data with like, you know, it's time. I better get a bigger drive for my game drive. I'm like, nope, that's still working fine. Because I'm rarely in a situation, especially with Steam Cloud saves, that I have to wait. You know, like I was flustered when I had to download Assassin's Creed, which was like 120 gigabytes or 110 gigabytes, because it took Clutch Your Pearls, 23 minutes. And I didn't know what to do with myself.
Oh my.
I genuinely didn't know. Like, 23 minutes for something to download. What if, do I go do something around the house? This is so weird because normally, you know, it's like enough time to get up, grab a drink, you come back in and you sit down. And that's the reality that we're sitting in, you know. Maybe I come from that time of like 23 minutes to wait on a download. Like, yeah, that's how I get away with
spoiled.
that 250 gig drive. Is once I'm done playing a game, I just uninstall it, right? Because download it again.
Yeah.
Most games are like 30, 40 gigabytes. Like, that's going to take, what, 5 minutes? Go get something to drink, come back, sit down, you're done. Now, like non-Steam games and stuff like that, yeah, I could definitely see that. Like, you might have assumed Steam is just for Steam games, but I don't have outside of some open source games that I play occasionally or just like keep track of building them and messing around with them. I don't really have I'm never going back because I remember having a games folder with a bunch of games and trying to keep them organized from like Humble Bundles and all of my Loki games from back in the day. I don't miss that. I don't miss that at all. Like that's something Valve got right with Steam. Having all that organized. Having that search right there, you know? You just type it in, you're like, ooh, there's that game.
Yeah, I do the same thing, Vin, because I don't need a big drive. I just download the games that I need to play.
When you want to play them.
Yeah, because I have a gigabit now, so it's like big deal. I do have some like backed up of games, like especially the games that you don't have. They don't have cloud save with their config. There's still some of those games flying around, and
you're right, Strider. You're right. Everybody, Heroic Games Launcher. Go give it a look.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you want to install 3 games? You don't. You don't. Also, it keeps you kind of honest, doesn't it? When you think about it. Like, I don't have extra games sitting around on Steam that I don't play. You see me post a screenshot of stuff like on Steam, you know, I usually have, you know, indie games. You know, a bunch of those, like, but like big, chunky AAA title games. Like, what do I have? I have Assassin's Creed installed. I have Spider-Man installed, and I think there's something else. But outside of that, that's it.
Yeah, the only ones I have installed on here are the ones I've played with LGC, which is like Trackmania. I still have Armello loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Just the games that we play. That's it.
Yeah, you don't even think about it. And I mean, I don't have like crazy fast
golf with your friends.
Golf with your friends.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have like really slow internet or like 100, you know, it's weird. This is weird what I'm about to say. If you have something slow, like 100 megabits down, which is still astronomically fast in my head, I could see, you know, keeping things stored. Joe's got gigabit, which is never a problem. I have like my actual download speed's like 680 megabits. So, and that's like way faster than I'd normally have. Like, for me, I'd probably be happy with 100 megabits because I'm not a person who was ever in a rush to do something like that. And just suddenly figure it comes from growing up with dial-up, basically, and DSL.
Yeah.
Like, I have that like hard-coded in my brain to just check out. If it's like 20 minutes frustrates me, 5 hours I'm good with. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, let's, you know, go do the things. The DF output, he was going to post it, but the format came out awful terrible. I don't know. That's why I do screenshots. It's easier.
Oh yeah, Gamatron. I have tons of games on my Steam Deck. Including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's a classic. I've got Distance. I've got Trackmania. Yeah, I have more stuff installed on my Steam Deck than I do my desktop computer. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, I know you got search the text from the screenshots. It's a screenshot. We're talking about a DF command here. I can search that with my eye holes. Okay, The Witcher. That was the other. I knew I had.
Oh, yeah.
I installed that to There's all my installed games. My big chunky list. Like, yeah, Assassin's Creed's the big one. And again, little games. I got all the Jackboxes because we play them in the after shows, and I got Trackmania. I still have Unravel installed. It's not really a big one, but yeah, The Witcher, Spider-Man, and Assassin's Creed. Those were the only ones of like note on there. Oh man, Beastie, you got me beat. That's Beast Mode engaged. Trackmania, Pillars of Eternity, and Dishonored. All right.
There you go. 3.
Oh man. Yeah, I typically have more than 3. I mean, that makes my list look luxurious in comparison. Games for days. And I have so many. It's so weird having so many games. I could tell you every game I had up until 8-9 years ago.
Yeah. When you hit almost 1,000, it's just like you can't keep up with what you have.
Yeah,
I've sometimes bought duplicates, on the Humble Bundle and stuff.
It was like the games from the Humble Bundle. I had all my Loki games, and I had
yeah, Loki.
What was LG Linux Game Publishing game titles? I had a couple of those, and like some other random oddball ones. You just randomly run across somebody. It had we didn't have really a place for indie games because for the longest time there weren't much in the way of indie games even on Steam. Before we had what was it called?
Yeah.
Greenlight. Yeah.
Greenlight, Project Greenlight.
All right. Tiny SSD. Oh, let's take a look at Don. See what Don's got going on. 17%. Well, I mean, tiny bits of data on a tiny SSD. That works fine. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? 17, 31 on boot, 17 on home. Yeah, there's plenty of room. Plenty of room to do tiny things. Actually, there's plenty of room to do big things on a tiny drive. And yeah, storage is one of those things I guess you can never have too much. Like no one can ever be like, why do you have all this storage? Then we look at, how long was our show? 48 minutes today?
Yeah.
So
I was going to say just under 50. I think I was right.
If only I had a thing over here that I could press one button. 47 minutes and 33 seconds. So, yes, 48 minutes. That recording is... That will... How big is that? Look down at the bottom of the screen there, kids. Is that?
Yeah.
100.8 gigs. This is why we use XFS.
Yeah.
100 gigabytes, baby. Yep. So 40 minutes of DNX HD 290 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels of wave, uncompressed wave 32-bit float.
Beastie was asking what the size of your drive is.
That is the Crunch drive. It is 1 terabyte. Which is plenty of space if that's all the drive does. It's for recording. 100 gigs is not really filling up a 1 terabyte drive.
Yeah.
I can do that 10 times over. And no. That Crunch drive is just like the recording drive. That it is the die sooner-ish. Out of all, who was it? Unoid was kind enough to pick up that NVMe drive, 2 terabyte drive from Wish Zone, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, hey, I want to get you this. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, but have you considered like getting the newer one, the PCI Express 4 version? And I'm like, it don't matter. It don't matter. Whatever's cheapest. Like, this is all we're going for. Why? Because these drives don't live long. They are abused. So there is that. Man, they've changed Thunderbird on me, Jill.
Oh, yeah. They just did a major UI, so change.
You people at home are not going to be seeing it because this is on the Thunderbird Daily build that just rolled out, and they put an annoying bar on there. Go away.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? At least had the courtesy of what the browser we were talking about. One of the newer browsers.
Sidebar. Ben doesn't like sidebars.
Yeah, and I was like, why do we? And the whole thing of his project was like, we're doing a minimalist browser. And I'm like, why is there an annoying sidebar then? Because that's not what I expect to see in a minimalist browser. And he wrote back and he's like, you know what? Good point. I'm like, thank you. I'm just some rando on the internet. Saying like, I don't get that. But you do you. It's cool. Like, express displeasure, but you can also do that without hating on anything. All right. I think we're together. What is that? Is that Alan's smorgasbord of Undertale? Apex Legends. All right. Armadillo, Quake, Golf with Fiends, Gang Beast.
We gotta have Shell Shock.
TNT, Super Meat Boy. What else? Tricky Towers. All right. Yeah, I'm down with all these.
Ones we play on the shows.
Running Containers. ZFS. Optane. I almost bought one of those Optane drives since they're on clearance sale. And I'm like, I don't need it. 33% on root. 100%. Snap. Ew. Ubuntu detected. Ubuntu detected. EQ anniversary. Ubuntu is the base system. All right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Debian with a body kit.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong at all. Oh, man. But yeah, I think that, yeah, we're almost at 450. Speaking of Ubuntu, if you want to watch me install the OG from whence Ubuntu came, the Debian, I'll be doing that tomorrow. It's probably somewhere to 12 and 1. Keep an eye on the Twitch schedule, or I'll put a event thing up in our Discord, as I like to do. OG Ubuntu. The old school Ubuntu, the real stuff, the main line, man. The mother Ubuntu. The queen Ubuntu. Yeah, but I mean, Debian, you got Debian, then you got versions of Debian with like what I consider, like you see like a regular car with a person that's put a body kit on it, like the fender's wider and they put spoilers on it. So you got versions of Debian with body kits on it, like Ubuntu and Pop and things like that. Which are all cool, like you add your own personal style and flavor, and sometimes it works out good, sometimes it don't. Ah, man. Back from the grinder room. All right.
Steve has been. Yay. Arthur, who were you grinding? Steve has been.
Experimental. Okay, Beastwick, one of the things I'm going to be doing is showing people how to install NVIDIA drivers. I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how to install CUDA and NVIDIA without using apt or relying on somebody else packaging your drivers for you. I'm going to let you download the drivers you want, install them, and they're going to stay installed, and they're not going to update, and they're not going to change on you until you decide. What? You have Nuvo installed? Die? I don't have Nuvo installed. I don't have anything. I got the proprietary evil NVIDIA binary bulbs installed, man. I got AMD in all the other boxes, or Intel. But I want to show people how to install NVIDIA drivers from the run file because it's super easy, and it's really important if you're building a workstation because you don't ever want your drivers, your video drivers to update on you.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to be running the long-lived production branch. No, the binary driver straight from NVIDIA. I have to remove the default Nuvo first. It's not hard. No, the drivers do that for you automatically. The run files do that for you. When you install from the run script, it'll create a little blacklist file for you and drop it in your mod probe. But you know that.
Yeah, exit the GUI and do it properly.
Exit the GUI, but do it with gusto. We'll open the terminal and type in sudo service light dm stop. Then you'd hit Control Alt F1. So you get to your TTY, you log in, then we're going to unzip. Well, no, it's just the run file. They don't even bother because it's already compressed in the run file. And show you how to sudo into that little critter and run it. Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick video. I've been meaning to do that for 10 years, and I've just never done it. Again,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's simple things that for stuff me, you, and a lot of you in the audience are like, of course, you just do it that way.
Yeah.
That's, boom, massive roadblock to a lot of people just walking into something. But I can also show everybody, I'm like, hey, how do you install the NVIDIA drivers with, okay, here's the situation. Yeah, you can install it, I'm sure there's PPAs for Ubuntu, I don't know, Pop. And, Debian's got whatever the last version that shipped with Debian, unless you're running like testing. Here's another issue. Let's say you went out and bought a 40 series card or whatever card just came out. I ran this with the 20 series, not 30, but the 20. And the drivers that you need to install just came out that day. What are you doing? What are you going to do? You're just going to sit around and wait a couple of days? Hopefully they get updated. Yeah, you're just like, oh, I guess I'll just put this new video card back in the box and just wait. So, yeah, use cases like that.
Yeah, I remember doing it with my 1080 Ti. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't want my video drivers anywhere near apt. Then again, you can do apt mark hold. But, it also comes down to building, especially, because another video I'm going to be doing is how to build a DaVinci Resolve workstation, which is going to be covering installing CUDA, but a particular version of CUDA and the supported NVIDIA drivers for that version of CUDA. And yeah, you don't want any of that ever getting updated. Apt does it blissfully unaware. All right. Cool, everyone. Jill, enjoy going out tomorrow, flying your kites.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get a lot done today, including practicing Trackmania tonight, just in case tomorrow I don't have power for some reason.
Sounds good. Steve, best of luck hiding from Jill tomorrow.
Yeah.
And everybody out there in the audience, we'll see you next week doing this. Maybe pop in tomorrow when I'm tearing apart and installing Linux live again, because nothing went wrong enough the first time. So maybe we can get some extra wrong. We'll put an NVMe drive in Rectangle, and we'll put the fan in Rectangle, which it absolutely needs, because right now it's running with the side of the case off, so it doesn't overheat.
Yeah.
And, it wouldn't overheat, but guess what? That Noctua fan was spinning loud enough to hear it.
Oh boy. Yeah, not good.
Which you can imagine how fast that was.
It's so neat seeing you work in a small case because I've built so many rigs with mini
Isn't
ITX.
it fun, Joe, when I open my hand and the case is well inside of it? Like,
yeah.
It's like I'm working on a little micro machine toy here.
Yeah. Oh, bye, Brother Jelly Bean. Yay.
And hey, we found a use for those
Bye,
tweezers.
Alan.
Oh, that's
Bye,
another
dear.
thing. I'm
Bye,
going to be taking the
Misty.
motherboard out.
Bye, Earth Aaron. Bye, Steve Husband.
Bye, everyone.